Welcome back. Chris here with McDaniel Motorsports. I am still working on the Charger. What do you know? Starting to get a little repetitive here, but anyway, I'm on the passenger side of the car, finishing up the rear wheel well. The inner and outer fenders have some patch panels I need to weld in, and also I need to finish off the fender opening here, where I had to remove all the spot welds from the first time, or I guess that would be the second time, because I removed the original sheet metal the first time. So anyway, let's get going. Alright, I think I got them fixed. I don't know, man. Something tells me I'm gonna have to buy a new welder pretty soon. Alright, after that debacle yesterday with my welder, I broke down and bought a new machine. It was a lot. It was a lot of money, and not good. Anyway, I need a welder, and I need one that works every day. So anyway, story of my life. You are going to witness the first weld with this new machine. I ended up getting a Miller Multimatic 220 AC/DC. It's going to allow me to weld aluminum TIG, which is really cool. I've never had a machine that did AC aluminum TIG, so I'm excited about that. And somehow I've gotten through 3 different car builds without needing that. So anyway, so I'm gonna start welding. Here we go. This thing welds like a dream. Wow. A little tip dip. I like to put that stuff on when the gun's hot. If you put it on when it's cold, it kind of globs up, and it keeps the shielding gas from coming out very efficiently. Hey, what's up, guys? So I put the camera down and just busted out the rest of the sheet metal installation and touch up. Sorry, I didn't think you guys wanted to see me do a bunch of grinding and stuff, so hold on, I gotta get this. Sorry about that. Phone call, boss. Anyway, so like I said, I went through and just did all the touch up on the sheet metal and filled the little holes and cracks I wasn't happy with. Patched both of the inner fenders, which I will show you here in a sec, and went inside of the sheet metal, inside the floor pan, where I don't care how good of a welder you are, you always miss little holes and stuff, and so I went around and just marked them like that. You can see where I've marked it there. And, you know, all the stuff I just wasn't totally happy with. This is all going to get covered with Boom Mat or Cool It. Thermotech is typically the brand I like to use. But the thing is I know it's there, so I can't let it be. So that's just me. Anyway, I went in and cleaned these gutters out with a light wire wheel, cleaned out the top there, and let's see here, I got all the floors, all the rear fenders are all burned in and sanded down flat. You could still see a remnants of the spot weld, which is kind of what I was after, but yeah, everything is together and as it should be, I think. But here's the trunk. Everything is burned in. Trunk brackets, the spare tire brackets, the jack bracket down there, the rear valance supports, the trunk support. Sorry about the light there. And you can see where my patches were on the rear of the inner fender, and it came out pretty good, I think. And then of course the tail panel, which probably was the most difficult part of this whole thing, actually getting the corners to be good and then everything else to fit up nicely. I've got some really good gaps. And let's see here, inside the fenders, a lot of welding, but I'm happy with the way it came out. I did have to build these corners up here. There was kind of a dip right here where the two panels come together, where the quarter slides under the roof skin, and it just by design they put a step in these guys so they fit under. So rather than build it with filler, I'm more comfortable with building it with metal. So the top edge is actually metal, so if anything ever hits it or anything like that, it won't shatter like Bondo does or body filler does. So I did both sides, did a patch on both inner. You can kind of see that one over there a little bit, and then this guy here. It's not the prettiest thing in the world, but it's all there and it's burned in. So the gutters all look pretty good. I did have to do a little bit of repair on that, but they do look good. Let's see here, get my door open. And I did find another flaw in AMD sheet metal floor pans. So they came with a hole in this plate right here, but there's no hole drilled into the pan. So I went to mock up my seats for my buddy seat brackets. I just put the seats in there and basically put the buddy seat in and just tacked it, so I know exactly where the buddy seat's supposed to go from measurements that I took when I took the car apart. Got those burned in, and but anyway, back to the seat. The seats have holes on them to move those pins. The threaded, they're like small pieces of all thread that go through the bottom of the seat brackets, and I could not figure out why the seat bracket wouldn't go through the hole right here. This is where I guess the floor pan comes with the hole through this bracket, but no hole in the pan. So long story short, I had to make new holes in front. So keep an eye on that if you're doing this. If you go to mock your seats up, make sure you're still in metal before you drill those holes, because you may have to change that. That's something that AMD needs to fix. Other than that, I think I'm good. I'm feeling good about it. And if I miss something you guys see, let me know. But now I am on to this. Rear housing. So this is an 8 3/4 Chrysler. It's a stock rear end. It's got a 789 third member or 489. I don't know. I can't remember. But it's the big one. The car was a big block car. It's just a 2-barrel base. So anyway, I'm gonna put some heavy, pretty good horsepower to this car. So I wanted to put a truss on the rear end just to keep it from breaking or twisting. So I fitted up. So what I did is I put these plates on, mocked them in, put a C-clamp on them, both, fit them, had to do some grinding here and there, but I got them where I want them, obviously stripped the paint, and I'm about to tack these guys in and make them live right where they're at. So I'm not sure about this thing. This thing is, it appears like US Car Tools wanted you to burn this in, but it doesn't sit flat. So I am, it looks like it's just going to be stepped up a little, which is fine. I don't mind. But I thought about just burning that through and just covering it, but I don't know. We'll see. See how froggy I get. I'm almost out of gold gas, so I'm gonna see how far I can get today. But yeah, that's where I'm at. So, and after this, I'm gonna put the front fender braces in from US Car Tool as well. And I'm not sponsored. They didn't give me anything. I bought my stuff retail, unfortunately. So I guess one can dream. But yeah, I've pretty much thrown the whole catalog at this car at this point. So anyway, here we go and do some welding. Sorry I started without you. I thought my camera was rolling. Just tack so far. Boy, burning grease, burning gear oil is among one of the worst smells ever. Whew. So now that I've got some good hot tacks, I can release the C-clamps. Mystery still remains about this guy here. I'm assuming it's supposed to stand out because it doesn't fit in the hole. So that's what I'll do. I'm going to weld this first and then weld that over the top. I would assume that they tie the braces together, maybe. I don't know. But I don't want them going anywhere, so I'll go with it. What's funny is when you get doing a bunch of sheet metal, you get so used to doing tacks, and then you want to keep moving around and keep from putting too much heat into one spot. And I find myself doing that on structural stuff like this. You've seen me jump around, and it's not bad. It's just, a lot of welders just take that line and just go the whole way. But I for some reason like to just tack and then start making smaller welds and then kind of nail it down evenly, if you will, or so to speak. I guess I could show you. I guess that's why I do that, right? See what I mean? I just did. This is called stitching, for those of you who don't know. But I started out with tacks right on the corners, and that usually is where I will start my bead, and then I will do another stitch. But I'll jump around, as you saw, just to keep from putting too much heat into it. And then you can see the penetration coming through the housing right there. And then there's a good one right there. And then there's some right there. So that's a good sign. That's what you want. Yeah. make sure the housing is right side up. What I'm doing is just beating this thing down as close as I can get to the truss, so I can get a good weld penetration. Not that this part matters, it'll look better. Alright, before my battery runs out, I think I'm gonna finish weld this. I just can't stand it. You get an intuition and it eats at you a little bit, and the off-roader in me wants to just weld the damn thing, the whole thing. No, this is not an off-road car, but if it breaks, I'll feel really stupid. It'd be a hassle to do it after it's painted, so even though I've already painted it once. If you're in the market for a welder and you have dough, I would highly recommend this machine. It's really the nicest welder I've ever used. But they are expensive. Show you guys before the battery runs out. That's where I'm at. Oh, 11%. Alright, so there it is. Finished welded. I need something there. I don't think so. I think it's okay. Not too shabby. I mean, it's burned in. No doubt about it. I feel good about it. Alright, so this rear end has a chance to live. I got new axles and my rebuilt third member, and after I paint this thing, I'm going to assemble that and get it into the car. One step closer to getting out to the paint and body shop. Thanks for watching. Alright, so I know I just did my outro, but I wanted to show you guys something really important, especially for you Mopar guys. The lower control arms, the shells that the bushings go into, those are a pain to get out. And I believe the manual, the Chrysler manual for the car, which I have, which is like this thick, it's like 700 pages, well worth the 60 bucks. But here, let me turn this fan off. Sorry. So I wanted to show you guys how to get these out. So the bushing shell itself is usually what's left over when your bushing fails, and I'm talking about the lower control arm. So here's what it's going to look like. So when the bushing comes out, you just poke the rubber out, comes out pretty easy, and then the sleeve that goes in the center also comes out really easy. Most of these old cars are they're wasted in most cases. In fact, why would you be taking it apart if it wasn't wasted, right? So I am blowing this whole thing apart, of course. I'm doing a restoration, so it'd be silly if I didn't. And I'm not in the market to upgrade these lower control arms just yet. I probably will at some point, but just like everyone else, I'm on a budget, and I need to get this car back on the ground so I can put it on a trailer and go to the body shop. So anyway, this steel bushing right here is the outer shell, and this is the bushing that this control arm basically rides on. And these things are known for doing this. So what you do is you go into your junk drawer, which you should have one, just with spare parts, spare nuts, bolts, you know, Chinesium and all that stuff, don't throw that away. Just put it in a drawer. That's your tech tip for the day. But find a washer that fits. Clean the washer up real good so it will conduct electricity. And the trick here is to not weld the bushing shell to the lower control arm. Sorry, I wasn't doing a good job at filming that. So yeah, you got to get it so it just sits right on top. And come on, there we go. So see how it has a little gap around the whole thing? So I'm going to weld that. Basically, weld the washer to the shell itself, and then you flip it over and you press it this way so it comes out. So thanks to the great Steve Dulcich, I learned this from watching the Roadkill Garage show, one of the best shows on Motor Trend in my opinion, and I watched them over and over, especially for the Mopar stuff. They give you guys all kinds of hints and tips and tricks and stuff like that you would be chiseling at this thing for days and possibly ruining the opening. So yeah, just wanted to share that. So I'm going to weld this real quick, tack it. I got the other one tacked up, ready to go. Just got to zap them real quick and put a good strong weld, and then I'll show you guys how to press them out. It's probably easier done with 024 wire, which is what I have here. I probably should have done that axle truss with 030 wire, but 024 was in the machine, and there I am, done. So, all right. Now I have my machine turned up to 1/8" steel because that's what I was welding earlier. It's a little hot, but I think in this case it'll do well because we're trying to keep it on such a small area here. So I'm going to do a couple more tacks here just for good measure. You don't want it to break, and you have to do this again. And I'm starting my weld puddle on the washer itself. I think if you start it on the bearing shell, you're probably going to get a better chance of welding to the air control arm itself. So I start my arc on the washer itself. All right, so here's the lower control arm. You see my welded junk washer on there. If you notice closely, that I didn't weld on the actual control arm itself. I just welded the washer to the bushing shell. So that, and this is these come on, focus. I don't know what's going on with my camera. Anyway, so these, not everybody has a press. This is well worth $200 and something. It's like 250 bucks, I think, at that hobo freight place. So highly recommend it. You can do a lot of stuff with this. Anyway, the method I'm using here is just a kind of a boogered up 1/2 inch, looks like a 6-inch extension. And I'm going to use the broad part on the bottom that's already kind of mushroomed out from me beating on it in the past. And so I've got that washer here, as you can see. And I'm just going to flip it over. And hopefully this stays put. I wonder. I guess we'll find out. But yeah, just take the broad end, stick it down in there. It kind of stays on its own too. Let me position these guys here over a little bit so I can keep the control arm from popping up. Kind of get it right in the center. the shell. I think that's the sound of a weld breaking. Let's see. Yep. Just one though. Alright, I guess we'll hit it some more and see what happens. Don't have anything to lose. Do this where I'm gonna put my rod further over away from the broken weld and see if that does it. That was Stuart, by the way. Getting weird. I can't do that. That's how things get destroyed. Teeth get broken out. I think my weld's broke. Just isn't much to weld to on the shell edge. Try her again. Yeah. Not hot enough, I guess. Alright. Challenge accepted. See if the other one fails too. Welds are too cold. Looks like. Let's see where it ripped. Alright. Okay. Fix it. We got this. Alright. So I welded those guys up. This time on 3/16 plate thickness. Almost fully welded them actually. Just don't want to do that, deal with that. But I think it's also going to help with the heat, because I had welded those earlier today, and them being cold probably not helping my case. So, I mean, cold for California, I should say. The shell is basically ripping. Great. Yeah, so the bushing shell is ripping. So let's make it ugly before it gets pretty. And the metal just tore in the bushing thing. Check it out. This time my welds held. Yeah, it's just ripped. Totally ripped. Well, let's try this guy. Yeah, bearing shell is just coming, just tearing now. Huh. All right. Guess plan C. All All right, we'll get to those bearing shells in the next video. I think I'm gonna take the factory approach on that, just chisel them out, but I promise I'll show it to you guys when I do it. But I did jump into my fender braces. I've got them massaged. There was a lot of grinding involved. These things don't just go on. You have to fit them. I mean, I should say that there was a lot of massaging, we'll say, but they are intended for the car, so I should be clear that they just need a little massaging. These cars do flex, and you know, they get bent over time, and you know, nothing out of crazy, but they can only, you know, make so many brackets and have them fit so many times. So I guess what I'm saying is you have to make them fit. So but I have them tacked in with several real good tacks. You can see that the passenger side here, pretty cool pieces. I like how they dimple dyed them. It's pretty nice. It's a nice piece, something that you'll probably have to look for if you're looking at this car, because the fender will be on and it'll be covering. So here's the battery box. Got I did have to replace the battery tray, but the arms are OEM factory, so those were good. And here's the driver's side. Again, nice piece, US Car Tools. They do a really good job. But again, I know there's lots of variances in these cars. So, and last but not least, the rear end is in the car. It's just sitting there. However, it's in the car. I'm proud of that. And my cat and one of my dogs is begging me to go inside. But that's the finished product right there. So, welds look a lot better when they're painted, turns out. But I'm happy with it, and that should certainly sturdy up that 8 3/4 for the power I'm going to be putting down on it. Plus, it's a manual trans car, so it's going to see some abuse. I'll probably have to put some traction devices on it, but I don't plan on running drag slicks or anything like that. Just either some Cooper Cobras or some BF Goodrich radial TAs, Mickey Thompson Sportsmans, who knows. It'll probably just end up with the cheaper of the three. So, but I'm stoked on that. It looks really good, I think. Let me know what you guys think. We're on our way. Things are coming along. But anyway, I'm gonna end this video and consider this my outro. And I swear I will get to this in the next video. I promise. I'm just waiting on the specs from my engine builder. He's good at building engines, but he's hard to nail down on certain things. So, but I want to give you guys all the details on this engine. I'm not hiding anything. I just want you to be as happy as I am with it. So I promise I'll get to this in the next video. So anyway, thank you each and every one of you guys for coming along with our journey here. And it's a lot of work, as you can see. It's a lot of work, a lot of labor and money. So anyway, y'all be good, take care, see you in the next video.